Hey, so welcome back to this channel. So in this video we'll be discussing about the third Leetcode question, that is longest substring without repeating characters. So this is actually a comparatively easy problem. So let's look at the statement. Given a string S, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. So basically if the input is something like ABC, ABC, BB, the longest substring without repeating characters is ABC, right? Because we have ABC, then BCA and CAB. So yeah, it's of length 3 as you can see here. Similarly for BB, the longest substring without repeating characters is B, right? So it's 1. And here you go for PWWKEW, it's WKE. And for S there is no longer substring, so it's 0. So yeah, let's see how to solve this problem. Okay, so now let's see how to solve this problem. Alright, so I'm just taking this exactly the same example that they took, that is ABC, ABC and BB. So the first thing we need to do is to make a hash map. I'll be explaining why. So make a hash map. Okay, so we'll have two variables, that is max length, which will contain our max length, and start, which will like inform us from where we are supposed to begin the substring. All right, so in default we'll have max length as 0 and we'll also have start as 0. Okay, so we'll be running an enumerating for loop. Okay, so when we go through the first element, that is A in this case, we'll check if A is in the hash map or not. But no, A is not there in the hash map. So what do? We have to check the max length. So how do we check the max length, you ask? I will just do something like max of max length and I minus start plus 1. So why I'm doing I minus start plus 1 is I want to know the current max length. Okay, so now the max length is 0 and I minus start, so it's 0 minus 0, right? Because I is 0 because it's the first element. Now 0 minus 0 plus 1, that is 1. So now our max length will get updated to 1, right? So let me rub this off and put max length as 1. Okay, so now let me erase all this. Okay, now when we go to B is also not there in the hash map. So we'll do the exact same thing. We'll take the max of max length and I minus start plus 1. So in this case, max length is 1 and I minus start plus 1 is 1 minus 0 plus 1. So it's 1 comma 2. Of course 2 is bigger, so now max length will be 2, right? Okay, let me rub this one and put 2 as the max length. So now let me just get all this off. Okay, then we'll go to C. Similarly, we'll do the exact same thing for C. 2 comma 2 minus 1 plus 1. So the max length will be 3. Let me put this as 3. Okay, so now what do we do? Okay, I actually forgot to mention one thing. Alright, every time we go through an element, we should store it using its index in the hash map. So when we went through A, we should store it as A colon 0. Then B, we should store it as B colon 1. Then C as C colon 2. I'm sorry, I forgot to inform this. So every time we go through the element, after checking if it's there in the hash map or not, we have to store this. Alright, okay. So okay, let's choose right here. Okay, then we'll come back to A. All right, we'll come back to A. So now our starting point was A over here. Now we'll come back to A in the third index. We have to check if A is in the hash map or not. Yes, A is there in the hash map. We also have to check if start is less than or equal to the index of that element in the hash map. So if we know A is in the hash map, we are supposed to check if start, that is 0 in this case, is less than or equal to the index of A in the hash map. So in this case, the index of A is 0. So yes, it passes all the conditions. So now we'll move on. Now what should we do? Now we should update the value of start, right? So the value of start will get updated to the index of the element plus 1. So in this, the index of A is 0 in the hash map plus 1 is equal to 1. So now the value of start will get updated from 0 to 1. Okay, all right. So now the starting value will be plus 1. So be very careful. I'm going to be removing a starting value from A. Now the starting value will be from B. All right, okay. And our ending value will be over A. I mean this A over here. Then we'll move on to B, right? We'll move on to B. We know that B is in the hash map. Similarly, we'll move one step forward on both the sides. All right. And again, you're supposed to update the value. So in this case, A is in the third index. So we have to update the value of A from 0 to 3. And B is in the fourth index. So update the value of B from 1 to 4. Okay. Then we'll move on to C. Now C is in the fifth index. So first we'll move everything towards the right. So we'll update the value of C to 5. Okay. Now what do we do? Now we again came across B, right? So we again came across B, that's in the hash map. So the value of start will get updated. It will be the index of the element plus 1. So in this case, it will be 4 plus 1 equals to 5. Alright, so the starting value, I mean the ending value will be B and the starting value will be 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be C and B. Let me erase this and put this in green ink for you guys. Okay, C and B. Now we'll go on to the next B. When we go on to the next B, we'll already have updated our value from 4 to 6. Okay, so the next B again is there in the hash map. So start equals index of element plus 1. So in this case, it will be put as 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. So now what can we conclude from this? Both the starting and the ending points will be the same. But that need not concern us because we have to return the max length. So what's the max length? The max length, whoops, let me just cancel this off. The max length is 3, right? So 3 is our answer because ABC is like the largest substring within this string. And they could also be BCA and CAB, but you get the idea, right? Okay. Now I'll just explain one thing about a doubt that many people might have. So some people have been asking me as to why, I mean, after checking if it's in the hash map, why are we supposed to check if start is less than or equal to the index of the element in the hash map? So I'll be explaining that. So let me rub all this. Okay, suppose we have a string, something like, let's say S M M Z U X S. All right, so we have a hash map here. We'll check if S is in the hash map. No, it's not in the hash map. So max length, let me update the value of max length as 1 and start will always be 0, right? And we have to add this in the hash map. So S colon 0. Then M is also not there in the hash map, M colon 1. Before that, let me update the value of max length to 2 equals to 2. Whoops, that's the wrong ink. To 2. Okay. Now we'll again come across M. We know that M is there in the hash map. So what should we do? We should check if start is less than or equal to 1. I mean equal to the index of the element in the hash map. So in this case, start is 0 and 0 is less than 1, right? Because the index of element in the hash map is 1. Okay. So now what should we do? Now this condition is passed. So start will be equal to index of element plus 1. So start will get updated from here all the way to here. So this is our starting point. So then we have to again update the value of m because now m is at 2. Okay, now what do you do? We know z is not there in the hash map, right? Okay, so we'll have z colon 3, u is not there in the hash map, u colon 4, x is not there in the hash map, and x colon 5, right? So by the time the value of max length will be something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, will be 4. Okay. Now what do we do? Now we came across S. So here is where the condition will come super important. S is there in the hash map. So we are supposed to check if start is less than, I forgot to update the value of start. So now start will be at 2, right? Because it's starting from index 2, that is M. We have to check if start is less than or equal to the index of the element in the hash map. So in this case, if we look at it, start is 2. We have to check if 2 is less than or equal to the index of S in the hash map. So as we see, the condition is not passed because 2 is bigger than 0. So I'll just say what happens if this condition was not there. So now, since this condition is there, what will happen is we'll also include S, right? We'll also include S. So M will be the starting, S will be the ending, and max length will be equal to 5. So let me say what happens if the condition is not there. In case this condition is not there, right? In case this condition was not there, what would happen? We'll update the value of start to the index of element in the hash map plus 1, right? So the value of start will get updated from 2 to 1 because 0 plus 1 is 1, right? So it will be something like this. But this is not right. Why? Because after m, one more m comes. So m gets repeated. But the question is to find the longest substring without repeating characters, right? So therefore, we put that particular condition to ensure that we are not repeating any characters over and over again. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys understood. And yeah, let's go into the coding part now. So let's jump into the coding part of this. Hopefully you guys understood the explanation. So yeah. So now we have to deal with the exceptional cases first. So the exceptional case is if the length of S is like 0, like if we're given an empty string. So I'll just do if length of S, is equal to 0, then I want to return 0, right? Because 0 is the longest length. So now it's time to set up our variables, okay? So we'll have max length equals to start equals to 0. And then we'll have a hash map. So I'll make a dictionary. Okay. Now what? Here's our loop. So I'll just say for I element enumerate. Enumerate. I want this to run for S. What should I do? If lm in hash map and start, this is important, is less than or equal to hash map lm, then what I want to do, start equals to hash map lm plus 1, right? You have to increase the value, and then else, this is a bit more neat for you guys. Okay, else what I want to do, max length equals to max length comma I minus start plus 1. All right, then we have to add it to the hash map lm equals to I, right? Okay, then at the end we'll return max length. Now this should work. Whoops, I saved it by mistake. Anyways, okay, let me cancel this off. Let me run the code and see if it works. And there you go, it works. Let me submit this. That's it. There you go. It is accepted. It is faster than 94.22%. So yeah, that is basically how you do this problem. If you are still confused, please like look up the explanation video like beside this, then I'm sure you'll figure it out. If you still can't figure out something, please drop them in the comment section below. And that's it for this video, and bye.